And he said to Gideon, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. He specifically calls him mighty warrior. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a soldier, but actually God calls us to be warriors in his army. Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and aBible. If you want to engage in a casual but meaningful chat about the Bible with a couple of mates, this podcast is for you.
Today's day 79. In Judges 6, Israel does evil, serves Midian for 7 years. The angel of the Lord appears to Gideon, and Gideon destroys an altar of Baal, and God gives a sign to Gideon. And in Judges 7, Gideon gathers the Israelite men to fight, and the men are reduced to only 300 soldiers, but God delivers Midian into the hands of Gideon and Israel.
Smashing.
I got to be honest, I did think that I would get you today with my 3-2-1.
I was gonna comment on that because Bevan he loves trying to trip me up with his little countdowns. So now he's gone with different what are they called? Languages,
yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't accents, languages. Which where was that? What's itch?
Japan.
Oh, all right, cool.
Ich ni san shi go ruk siche hache kyo.
All right, cool. Anyway, we've got so many notes today. We can't be capped.
Yeah, let's not talk Japanese.
And I wanted to start with a throwback to yesterday because it mentioned about how in Judges 5. 8, not a shield or spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. Like they've won all these battles, but now there's no weapons, there's no shields, no spears, because God's brought peace sort of in that era. And to me, it just says actually when we put our trust in God, he will fight the battles. We don't need to have the equipment. Now, obviously, there's the armor of God and the sword of the Spirit and all these sort of
Ephesians 6 and so on. Yeah,
absolutely. But it doesn't have to make sense because actually God was able to confuse the enemies so they fought amongst themselves. So the Israelites didn't need to take weapons with them.
Right.
Just trust God, right? Again, and I think I'm going to touch on it later today, actually.
Touch on it now, mate.
Yeah, might as well. Because in Judges 7:17, where Gideon is defeating the Midianites, it doesn't mention they have to take swords. It mentions, I think, isn't it trumpets and clay jars or something like that?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's you do what God tells you to do and he will win the battle. It doesn't have to make sense to us in our own little idiot human heads.
Right.
Just do what God says. Trust him. He knows better than we do.
Yes, he does. And if you think that you can do stuff on your own strength, just remember Judges 6:2. The power of Midian was so oppressive that the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain clefts and caves and strongholds. So imagine being this beaten back and still thinking that you can do anything on your own strength, right? And I see you're highlighting something.
I'm highlighting because I fully agree with you, and we've spoken about that tons. And then in Judges 6, verse 14, the Lord turned to him being Gideon, and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" So it's saying actually go under your strength, but I'm the one that's sending you, which seems contradictory to what we've been saying about this whole time. Go under God's strength. He's saying go under your strength.
Yeah, maybe it's also, again, this might be above pay grade, but because Gideon's not the most confident chap, is he? So maybe this is a bit of the best pep talk you'll ever get in your life because it's a pep talk from God. It reminds me of one of my favorite verses as well, Joshua 1:9, which I know it's a while since we talked about that, but just knowing, take courage and strength, know that I'm with you always. I'm just getting my screensaver up to see that that's exactly the wording, right? So it reminds me of that as well. I'm going to change gear just for a second. Still in Judges 6:10. God still speaking to them. "I am the Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live, but you have not listened to me." So, people just won't listen. We've talked about that a lot. I know I beat that drum a lot, and well, we both do, but I just wanted to also add in, we've said this vaguely before, but it's so easy for us to judge the Israelites here. But ultimately, this is actually my God sighting. Yeah. So I was really depressed a few days ago, and just really low and just not myself. And I prayed into it and I just asked for strength. And And God just came through for me, and he did this most amazing thing. We don't really have time to go into it today. Maybe I'll do it another day, but he did the most amazing thing to just show me he was with me. And it just made me cry and just apologize to God and just be like, I'm so sorry. You're with me all the time and you give me signs all the time. And yet I forget in 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's what Israelites do here. And it's insane.
Yeah.
So it's easy to judge, but we all do the same. So just remember that God is with you, people. God is with you.
That's huge, man. That's really cool. What I like out the back of what you've just said there, am I the Lord your God? Do not worship the other God. I love it because then it goes on in 11. It says, the angel of the Lord came and sat down under an oak, and there that belonged to Joash, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in the winepress. So he's like, I'm just going to have a sit down. But then he sees Gideon here, who's threshing wheat. Gideon is basically a farmer. And he said to Gideon, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. He specifically calls him mighty warrior. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a soldier. But actually, God calls us to be warriors in his army, calls us to fight in his army. Regardless of our background, our upbringing, our experience, God calls us to be soldiers in his army, basically.
Absolutely. Well, you were talking about Ephesians 6. I mean, it's a metaphorical armor of God, but it is in that sense we are all in God's armor. Yeah, absolutely right. And Gideon doesn't believe this at all, right? He says, pardon me, Lord. How can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I'm the least in my family. So like David, again, that's Judges 6:15. Huh?
Sounds like David.
Yes. I mean,
called to be.
And Moses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't you ask my brother? And then Aaron's like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's true. And he's calling him, and he says, actually, effectively, leave your father and mother and follow me. He says you need to smash down your father's idols and his Asherah pole and stuff like that, and do this. So he does it at night, so he's not going to, annoy his dad. But then his dad actually sticks up for him. He's had his own, his altar to Baal torn down by his son, but he still stands up for his son, which I really love, which is in Judges 6, 25 to 31 ish.
Love that. Bouncing off of that as well, after the idol's been broken and stuff, they say let Baal contend with him. Judges 6:32, right? And I just wrote down, it's funny that if you test our God will always come through, whereas all of these fake gods made of whatever, bronze and stone, that will never come through because they're not.
It's like, can't Baal stand up for himself? No, he can't.
Yeah, he can't, because he's fictional.
Yeah, for sure. And then we get into the whole concept of Gideon's fleece, which is such a massive thing in the Bible, because it's effectively, it's putting your God to the test, which we shouldn't do. But it's more of like asking for a sign, asking for that clear indication of God. This is what I think I'm hearing, but I really need you to show me something, because as humans, we are just so weak, and we sometimes just need that bit of reassurance, don't we, really?
Yeah, no, I remember a Gideon fleece moment, but again, that might be for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so nice to know that we have a God that will do that for us as well. He almost respects the fact that we need that little encouragement from time to time, or reassurance, I suppose, rather than encouragement. And it kind of goes to show, even within that, Gideon has it done twice, doesn't he? And it shows from there he's trusting God, but he's not got that full, immediate, instant trust in God. He still needs that little bit of, it's all right, mate, I've got you, kind of.
Yeah, he's the most insecure bloke. He really is. Yeah, everyone knows a guy like Gideon, but still he works through it. Bit of a random one now for me, just quickly. Judges 7:5. Gideon took the men down to the water, and the Lord told him, separate those who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. I just thought that was brilliant. Here's the way that we're going to separate these men, and it's based on the way that they drink the water. And who is going to lap the water up like a dog, by the way? Who are these people?
Well, I've seen it in another translation, and basically it's the people that cup the water with their hand, lap it like a dog, compared to ones that just kneel down and drink it straight out. I've never seen a dog cup water with its hand.
No. The kneeling down is the dog one. They're the ones that are lapping the water there, and the cupping ones, the kneeling down to cup, I think those are meant to be the non-dog ones. So yeah, you're right, no dog has ever cupped water.
Anyway, we've got so much we wanted to say. Maybe we'll have to come on to that a little bit tomorrow. It's good fun, mate. I kind of enjoy these busy episodes. So anywho, tomorrow's readings, we've got Judges 8 and 9. So why don't you beautiful people pick up your Bible, get reading.
In the meantime, please consider joining us on social media at 2 Brits and a Bible, and sharing this with someone to help spread the word of God.